But thank you all for joining us. I am Karen. I am the new Executive Director of AAPA. I'm really excited to bring to you our first Idea Talks of this year. So this is going to be the first of a few workshops that we have lined up for the summertime. So really excited for you all to be tuning in. I like to go ahead and just jump right in while folks are funneling into today's Idea Talks. And I'd like to show you all just what today would look like. So welcome, to our first Idea Talks of the year. I'll go over some community agreements, some introductions, our speaker discussion, and then we'll have a Q&A portion that you can also share throughout, and then some closing and resources. So some community agreements that I usually like to share with folks is we like to, foster a space for others, right? So share the space, and then be kind to yourself and be kind to others. We're all learning here, and be curious, right? If there's something that piques your interest, try it out and see how it fits and see how, it might be of use to you in your practical day-to-day. Especially with what Amy's going to be going over today. I think, we're all kind of looking for some balance here, some wellness, and, especially with going back to the office or still being hybrid or work from home, there's a lot of things happening. So take what feels good to you that you learned today and, maybe just try it out. And for folks who are joining us for the first time, right, I know we have some folks who aren't familiar with who we are. AAPA, we are Asian American Professional Association. So we have a few main programs. We essentially started with our mentorship program, which is one-on-one mentoring. We match you with a mentor for the year, and you receive, the amazing support from our network of mentors and structured workshops and curriculum. The Idea Talks is part of that. As a supplement to our workshops. And then we also offer a 6-month board leadership training. So this is actually where you get to learn practical training and steps on how to become a board member. And there's an internship component associated with the program. So if you're interested in that, we offer this board leadership training every year. We also have our own Toastmasters Club. So for folks who are familiar with Toastmasters International, we have our own Toastmasters Club within AAPA. And, this really helps you become a better speaker and really help, develop your communication skills. So we have our own club that's very welcoming and inviting and a lot of AAPI representation there. And of course, our virtual Idea Talks. So this is what you're tuning into today. This was actually developed during pandemic. We created these virtual talks with community members on topics that matter to you. So these are topics that we generally ask for feedback for, right? What do folks want to hear about? What are your questions? And wellness is actually part of, the feedback that we got from our community that folks asked for. So thank you for joining us today. And this is what AAPA does. And I'd like to go ahead and introduce, of course, our speaker for today, Amy Young. Amy is the VP of Operations at Bravado, also one of our AAPA mentors and co-founder of Women in Network, a 501c3 nonprofit, and is a 300+ hour certified yoga instructor. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and give Amy the stage.
Thank you, Karen. I'm very honored to be here today. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. My name's Amy. I am passionate about incorporating mindfulness and wellness into the corporate space. As you guys can see, I work in tech. I actually started my career in finance, work in tech now. At the same time, I'm also a yoga instructor. This passion of mine, which is, finding that good work-life balance, is something that I struggle myself with. And I'm far from perfect, but I just want to share with you guys what I've learned along the way, what helps me, and hopefully help you guys also incorporate better work-life balance into your life. So next slide, please. So the road to yoga was not easy. Like I mentioned, I started my career in finance, graduated from Berkeley, moved to New York afterwards to work on Wall Street and investment banking. Here in this picture, you can see me in my banking days in full business attire and a BlackBerry in hand. I moved back to the Bay Area to be a venture capitalist. I moved into finance and ops at tech startups. And the reason why I got into yoga and became a yoga teacher was actually I had a health care in the middle of a fundraising and acquisition process at my prior startup. And that was a really big wake-up call for me, that my current lifestyle of grinding, working late night hours, fast-paced, work hard, play hard lifestyle was taking an actual toll on my body. And the reason why I'm sharing my background with you is because I still am working in the corporate world. I haven't ditched everything and become a yoga teacher in Bali. I currently run ops, finance, and marketing at a Series B startup. And, what yoga has taught me was to how to manage my stress in a better way. The perspectives and ways I react to stressful situations, whether that is at work or in my personal lives, have improved a lot due to yoga. And when I signed up for training, when I first signed up for yoga training, I thought it was, oh, I just want to take a break from work, take a sabbatical, learn how to do a handstand, maybe the splits. I didn't realize that yoga, the physical poses of yoga, is actually just a tiny little part of yoga. But really, yoga is a philosophy, a way of life, and understanding that, there's also the mental part of it, mindfulness, wellness part of it, beyond just the physical aspect. And so my goal today is to provide you with some techniques to help you develop a healthy boundary at work, how to add regular wellness and mindfulness practices of your own, and find ways to manage stress better, whether it's at work or in your personal life. So next slide. So let's begin by getting grounded and settled into the space. We'll do a quick, very short breathing exercise. So if everyone can come to the edge of your seat to make sure both of your feet are firmly planted into the ground, and sitting up nice and tall, pull the shoulders back, and you may begin to close the eyes. Have both hands on your lap, palms to face down. And just take a second here to come into the space, come together, arriving at the session. And just notice your natural breath. Notice the mind is at the end of the workday. How is it right now? And no need to change anything, no judgment, just noticing. Take a big inhale here. Inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take another big inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Big inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let the breath return to a natural breath. And then gently flutter the eyes open. If we can go to the next slide, please. So how did that feel for everybody? Even that just short, 1 minute break we did, how did that feel for your breath and your mind? You can throw it into the chat, or you can raise your hand and speak as well. I personally don't like to talk for the full 90 minutes, so love to get some participation. Okay, well, William, you said you noticed some noises in your mind. Anybody else? So what problems do people currently have with balancing wellness and work? Do you feel like there's a million things going on at once? Do you feel like it's hard to focus? Sometimes you don't feel present, whether that's with your family or at work. Again, feel free to add it in the chat. You feel like you may be overworked or overstressed. Maybe sometimes it's hard to stop thinking about work, even though you've stepped away from the desk, even though you turned off the laptop. In today's day and age, we're constantly connected on our phones. There's Slack, there's emails, there's messages. So we go to the next slide. How many of you relate to at least one of these bullets? You raise your hand or put it in the chat. Have you ever felt increased anxiety? Maybe you feel emotionally overwhelmed. Do you ever feel like you have little or no motivation to go to work? There are days I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. Anyone has trouble sleeping at night? You're like, oh my God, there's so many things I need to think about. Or maybe you have no energy or exhaustion. Maybe sometimes you feel more easily triggered or irritated. Your significant other or partner says something, you just like snap back even though they've done nothing wrong. Well, that means you're probably burnt out. And I didn't realize this, that being burnt out at work can lead to so many of these things that affects your personal life as well. And the purpose of this session, if we can go to the next slide, yes, sitting too long at the PC, definitely have that. The purpose of this session is to hopefully help you find ways to find balance, focus on your wellness, but also empower you to give yourself permission to hit pause. And that's really important because we're in a society where we're constantly overworked. If you go to the next slide, it's in our culture to work hard. And so I pulled a few fun stats. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but on average, did you know that Americans work 137 more hours per year than the average Japanese workers? 260 more hours per year than British workers, and almost 500 more hours per year than French workers. Now, we all know the French, they take the summer off, but that's a lot more hours than the rest of the world. And in the US, majority of us all work more than 40 hours per week. In 134 countries, there are laws that set actually the maximum length of work. But in the US, we do not. And the US remains the only industrialized country that has no legally mandated annual leave. So no wonder we are overworked and we're burnt out. We have more stress, we have a less balanced life. We don't spend as much time unwinding with our loved ones, enjoying our hobbies, or connecting with friends. However, we're all still very motivated, ambitious people, right? Part of the reason why you're here, part of the reason you're looking for mentorship, you're looking for ways to improve yourself. So now the question becomes, go to the next slide, how can we still be successful and have a career while maintaining our wellness and living a balanced life? And there's 3 ways to do that. And I'm sure there's more, but the 3 ways we're going to go through today are meditation, which helps you with your mental wellness. There's exercise, which helps you with your physical wellness. And then boundaries, very important because we have a finite amount of time. And so you want to make sure you're not spending 80% of your waking hours on work and only 20% on personal and fun stuff, right? So let's go through meditation first. I'll be guiding you through a short meditation that will include breath work and becoming more mindful and aware of your own bodies. So let's begin again by closing the eyes and come to sit at the edge of your chair, both feet firmly planted on the ground. This time though, have your palms to face up on your lap. This is a sign of being receptive and open. And we'll begin with breath work. Instead of counting to 5, this time I'm going to count to 7. And so you want to make sure it's the same slow, steady inhale and the same slow, steady exhale. So inhaling for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now do this on your own. Count your own breath. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Then exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, slow and steady. Feel the chest expanding, lungs expanding. And exhale, let the belly press all the air out of the body. Just do a few more rounds of this yourself, counting in your head. Keep the pace slow and steady. Slow and steady. Maybe noticing the cool breath as it enters the nose. Notice the exact spot that the breath enters and touches the skin of the inside of your nostril. Maybe noticing the breath a little bit warmer when it exits the body. So it leaves the body, pressing out from the stomach, the lungs. And now just return to a natural breath. Let it be light and easy. Maybe you notice the difference from before when we first began class to now. And again, now we're just starting to notice and turning inwards. We're constantly in a very overstimulated world. There's many screens, our laptops, our phones, the TV. And just start to notice and focus on your body. Starting with the feet. Notice the four corners of the feet firmly planted on the ground, supporting you, feeling grounded. Maybe noticing where the knee joints bend. Now notice the hamstrings, the back part of your thighs that's sitting on the chair. Notice the exact spot where the chair and your leg touch. Notice your tailbone rooting down into the chair. Now go all the way up your spine. Noticing the shoulders, the shoulder blades, maybe roll the shoulder blades down. Let it be gentle and relaxed. Letting the arms dangle. Your hands resting gently on your lap. Notice the warmth where the back of your palm is touching the top of your thigh. That exact spot where the skin touches. And coming back up to your neck, the head. Notice the face, the muscles in the face. See if you can relax the muscles in the face just 10% more. Be more loose and relaxed. Maybe turn the corners of the lip up for a little smile. You notice your jaws clench. Maybe move the jaws up and down, left to right. And the jaws relax. More often than not, we go through life not noticing that our bodies are giving us cues on our health and our stress levels. I'm sure many of you have heard stories or people who have gone through this, or maybe you've experienced it yourself. Or after a big test or a big project or campaign you're doing, or someone's been working many long nights, they fall ill, become sick. Maybe you've been traveling for 2 weeks straight, going to different cities, working really late, going to networking dinners and events. And after you come home, your body is just collapsed and it becomes sick. That's our bodies telling us to slow down. It's telling us to take a break. And so this mindfulness exercise that we're about to do is going to show you how to pinpoint stress, how to start noticing the cues that your body is giving you before it takes a negative toll on your body. So keeping the eyes closed, just start to think about one thing that's been very stressful at work. Maybe it's giving you anxiety, maybe it's something you're really dreading. Is it a big meeting, a big presentation, not hitting your goals, the company's not doing well? What's that cloud over your head or that weight on your shoulder that you can't stop thinking about? And if you don't have anything at work, that's awesome. Maybe something in your personal life, whether it's finances, relationships, health. And just remember the last time you were really stressed and anxious, and just thinking about that. Think about the physical feelings that you're feeling right now as you think about this, or the last time you were stressed. Where do you feel it in the body? Physical manifestations start to appear. For some people, their jaws get really clenched. Like my jaws get really tight, and I have to remember that I need to stop clenching. For some people, their shoulders, like it starts to get a little bit raised. They're very tense. Their neck, shoulders get really tense. It becomes raised. Maybe you feel a heaviness in the heart, like there's a giant rock just sitting on your heart. For other people, it's their stomach, like a very uneasy, queasiness, uncomfortable feeling. So notice what that is for you. If it is your jaws, try unclenching it, relaxing the muscles in the face. If it's your shoulders, try to roll the shoulders back, bring the shoulders away from the ears. And then next time you feel these physical symptoms, which always happen first before our mind realizes it, just take a breath, take a pause. Think about what could be causing you the stress. Sometimes I feel these physical symptoms and I'm like, why am I feeling this? Something is causing me stress. Let me think about this. Do you need to slow down? Have you taken too much onto your plate? Do you need to take a break? Other times, most often than not, it's all created in our own mind, our own ego. The running thoughts constantly being like, am I good enough? Did I do this right? What's happening here, right? I'm sure all of us have felt that before. And then you can realize, okay, this is all being generated by myself, by my own mind that's going crazy right now. And so now that you know how to identify it before it takes a real toll on your body and health, you can be proactive in counteracting it. You can be proactive in knowing that you need to give yourself a rest or a break or ask for help. Now, as we exit and wrap up our meditation, I hope that this will help you in recognizing when stress or fear comes up faster, and you can pinpoint it a lot faster than letting it take control of your mind or your body. So whenever you're ready, you may gently flutter the eyes open. Great. How did that feel for everybody? Any thoughts, comments, realizations? Great. Glad you feel more relaxed, May. That is the point of this. Anybody else? Feeling calm, good, good. Cool, so next slide. So now that you guys have done a meditation, what is meditation? Meditation is a state of thoughtless awareness. It involves calming and focusing of the mind so that you feel a very peaceful, relaxed state. It doesn't mean you're sleeping. It means you're at a very peaceful, relaxed state, which is what May and William both put. And meditation helps us clear our mind on the past, present, and future worries, and really just focus on the present moment. And so, as you guys can recall in the meditation, at the beginning, I was counting for you guys, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I had you guys count. And so when you're counting your breath, your mind can't be thinking about anything else. You need to know what you're counting to and then when to go backwards, right? And the same thing when we were doing the body awareness exercise, right? It was like very specific instructions of noticing where the skin at the back of your palm touches your top of your thigh. It's a very precise notice. Sometimes in like yoga classes, I'll say like, press forward the skin at the back of your ankle, right? Like most of the time we don't go into such detail. And the reason we do that is when your mind needs to focus on this, it really brings us to the present. You're not out wandering, thinking about something else. You're really focused on what's happening now. And that is important because for the most part, we're constantly thinking about things that we cannot control. And so meditation helps you reflect on what you can control and not worrying about what you cannot. That's the dangerous part in our mind spirals. And meditation, when done correctly, it removes a lot of unnecessary stress. And why I put when done correctly is because you can sit for 10 minutes and let your mind just think about, oh, here's all my to-do list for the day. Here's the things I need to email for work. And I've been there, I've done that. Sit for 10 minutes and I just went through my to-do list for work, finish, my timer goes off and I go straight to work. Not helpful. And, you know, as with physical exercise, the personal benefits of meditation will be revealed to you through consistent practice. Just because you do this one session today with me does not mean all of a sudden you'll be like, cool, I'm zen for the rest of my week. No, you got to be consistent through it. And if we can go to the next slide. And so when you think about your mind, think about it like an untrained puppy running around. See how cute this little golden retriever puppy is? I like calling it the puppy mind. A lot of yoga teachers say the monkey mind. I think puppies are cuter. And so like with any golden retriever puppies, if anybody here has trained a puppy before, they just run around like crazy. They don't listen to you. They'll pee somewhere, they'll bite things, they'll chew your clothes or your shoes. They're just like running amok. They're doing their own thing. And you can't get mad at them because, gosh, look how cute they are, right? And yeah, you'll be a little bit frustrated, but like really, you're just letting them do their thing. If you have dogs and know what zoomies are, that's our mind. Our mind will do that because that's what a mind does. And so in meditation or in regular life, in our day-to-day, our mind will always do this. And instead of being frustrated, being like, oh, I can't turn off my thoughts, or like, why am I thinking about this again? Just be like, oh, at least you notice it, right? The first step is always noticing. Noticing your mind is running, noticing it's doing its thing. And instead of being, no need to judge it or try to bring it back, you're like, okay, I know it's running. I know I'm thinking. And then even that little acknowledgement brings you back to the present. It brings you to the present, like, hey, my mind is running, instead of like actually letting it go. And so this helps because for some people, if you become like, oh, my mind's always running, I can't be good at meditation, they just quit. Meditation will take many, many years of training. My teacher, 30 years of meditation, she still says sometimes just goes off on its own and you can't do anything about it. But it's the fact of consistent practice and just bring yourself to the mat or on your chair or in bed, just constantly doing it. And over time, you'll see the benefits of meditation. And so what are the benefits of meditation, right? Just like how physical exercise is important for your health, you can think of meditation as an exercise to strengthen the health of your mind. With meditation, you can develop better focus and concentration. What I really love about meditation is also you approach each situation in a more objective, compassionate, and skillful manner. This is very important if you're a leader at work and you're in a very high stress or reactive, or you're in a very high stress position, you don't want to be just reactive and emotional. Like that's not what makes a good leader, right? Same thing at home. If you have a significant other, or if you have kids, right? Like they are bound to do something that will really piss you off. But meditation helps us be objective and just rein in and be able to respond to difficult situations with a very level-headed approach. It also helps you increase awareness externally and internally. I think after yoga, I noticed a lot more things about my body that I just never ever noticed. We already did one exercise about like how to identify stress. And also it helps people cope with, if you have ADHD, PTSD, chronic pain, insomnia, and more. And so how does meditation actually work? It's not some like woo-woo thing brought by India that doesn't have any basis, right? Meditation actually has scientific backings where it helps soothe our nerves. And so as part of our nervous system, we have both sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. You can think of them as having opposing functions. The sympathetic division is what stimulates or speeds up activity. It's our fight or flight response, essentially. Whereas parasympathetic is what calms our body. It helps stimulate our body's vegetative activities like digestion. It also helps us slow down. And so whenever you feel anxious, fatigued, depressed, tension, that's your sympathetic nervous system at work. And scientists have actually proved that meditation alone, if you don't do anything else, no exercises, no yoga, no workouts, just meditation, it alone can dramatically reduce many negative effects brought by these different emotions. And what are ways that can activate your parasympathetic nervous system? Well, the first one is meditation. Second one is breath work, right? You see slow, deep breaths help. And, part of meditation is your breath work. Breath also is an object of concentration. Like I mentioned, it helps you bring to the present moment. Exercise also helps calms you down, being out in nature, and also diet. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about how the science that backs why meditation works. Before we go to our exercise, any questions? Any questions on meditation or what we've talked about? No? All right. So let's go to exercise. I know we've probably all been sitting at our desks all day. So I thought it would be nice to do a quick 10-15 minute exercise or stretch break. And this exercise, this flow is designed so you have no excuses about not being able to go to the gym or your workout studio. I have done that many times, like, oh, I've worked too late. It's too close to dinner time, or I missed my class. I can't do this. Well, this flow you can do right at your desk. And if you have a quick break in between meetings or at the end of the day, you can do this. And so we'll begin by sitting down. Let me make sure you guys can see now. I'll move a little bit back. All right. So we'll begin by doing some neck exercises. So bring your chin down to your chest. Lift your chin up. Then bring the chin back down to your chest. And then lift the chin up, look up to the ceiling. And then back to center. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Left ear to left shoulder. Right ear to right shoulder. Left ear to left shoulder. And just gently start to make circles with the neck, going one direction a couple times. Maybe pausing, going back and forth at any sticky spots. And if you've only been going in one direction, now make sure you go through the other direction. You can definitely hear some cracking in my neck. I don't know about you guys. And then we'll come back to center. So bring your right ear down to your right shoulder. Now bring your right hand to the top, if not almost left side of your head, and just press and try to pull the right ear closer to your shoulder. At the same time, drop the left shoulder blades down, and then you'll feel a nice stretch over here in the neck, the left side of the neck. You now turn the chin down, like using your right hand to keep putting pressure, just a gentle pressure on the head. And then maybe turn the chin up. So you feel the different parts of the neck it's stretching. And then you come back to center. Bring your left ear to left shoulder. Bring your left hand to the top, if not almost right side of your head, and just gentle pressure pulling the left ear closer to the left shoulder. Now pull the right shoulder down, and now feel a nice stretch right here. Turn the chin down, so you're looking at the ground. Then gently look up. Then we'll come back down. Now inhale, reach your arms up. Bring your right hand to your left forearm. And just start to lift the hand up. Lift as high as possible and then arc towards the right. Keep rooting down through your left hip. And inhale gently back to center. Use your left hand, grab opposite wrist, and just start to reach up, up, up first, and then arc over towards the left. Down through the opposite hip. Feel a nice opening of the entire right side. Inhale both arms up and gently bring it down. Cross your left arm across the body. Bring your hand to press the arm closer to you. Now, keeping the arm that's across your body completely straight, try to bring that shoulder blade back. Bring the arm back into the shoulder socket. You should feel a nice stretch over here. We'll gently release. And let's do the opposite side. Again, keeping the arm across the body straight, and see if you can pull that arm back into the socket. And we'll gently release. Lift the left arm high and then bend at the elbow. Use your opposite hand to lift the elbow high. So my bent arm, my hand is just resting at the back of between the shoulder blades, and lifting the elbow as high as possible. And instead of having your chin in your chest, see if you can lift the chin up. Feel a nice stretch in your triceps, all the way down to your the sides of your arms as well. Gently release, and reach the opposite arm up, bend at the elbow, then start to lift the elbow high. Imagine you're trying to point it and lift it up to the ceiling. And again, lift the chin up, so you're looking up nice and tall. And we'll gently release. And now we'll do a quick twist. So I'm sitting here. Bring your left hand to the opposite, to the outside of your right knee. Now bring my right hand to the other corner of my chair. And now I'm twisting, as I'm pressing my hand against my leg, I'm twisting towards the right. So now your gaze is facing right, your chest, your heart is facing the right side, your knees are facing front. Now see if you can turn the head to look over your left shoulder. A subtle stretch in the neck doing this. Find your breath, slow and steady breath. We'll gently release. We'll do the opposite side, so right hand outside your left knee. Bring your left hand behind. You can grab the outside of the edge of the chair and just turn and twist towards the left side. My knees are pointing forward. My chest and my face is pointing towards the left side. So you can pull that left shoulder back, pull both shoulders back. And now maybe turn your gaze over your right shoulder, adding that subtle neck stretch. And we'll gently release. Now we'll come to our standing part of the workout. So I'm gonna move my laptop to the side. So imagine this is your desk. I'm still sitting here. I just push your chair back and then stand up at your desk. So come to standing. All right, so if you're standing here, let me pull this down a little bit. Now take one giant step back with your right leg. If you need any help with balancing, you have your desk here. If not, you can have your hands on your hip, whatever you need. And then now, keeping the right leg very straight. So I'm not bending the right leg, I'm engaging the right leg. My heels are up. Imagine you're almost like squeezing your butt. Engage your right leg. You should feel a stretch in the front of your right hip. This is your hip flexors. And then now, without bending the right leg, you're only going to bend the left knee. And we'll straighten the left knee. And we'll re-bend the left knee. See if you can bend even lower. Feel a nice stretch of that hip flexor now. Straighten left leg. Re-bend the left leg. Inhale, straighten leg. Exhale, bend the left knee. If you need the balance, you may have your hands here. Otherwise, maybe try lifting the arms as you're straightening the legs. Maybe now bend the left knee, exhale, cactus the arms. So now my arms are, I'm going to face you guys now. My arms are almost in a goal post. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. I'm pushing my heart out. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades. I'm gonna go back to this. And then now stay here, keeping the left knee bent. Clasp your hands behind your back. Pull the clasped hands back, and then open up the heart, come into a baby back bend. This is a great pose for counteracting us constantly bent over like this on our laptops, right? This is opening up the chest, opening up the shoulder. Now gently bring your hands onto your desk, then we'll step back. Now we'll do the other side, so step the left foot back. Okay, again, my left leg is very straight. I'm not bending the left knee. I'm keeping the left leg straight. Imagine you're pressing the left thigh to the back of the room, squeezing your butt. My back heel is up. Then my right leg straight. Now I'll rebend the right knee. I'm gonna actually step forward a little bit with my right leg. Inhale, straighten right leg. Exhale, rebend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, rebend. You should feel a very big stretch on the left hip flexors now. Again, you may use the desk as your support and just keep rebending, straightening my right leg. Rebending. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Now you may keep staying here with your hands on the desk, or maybe reach your arms up when you straighten the legs. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach them. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale up. So I'll turn to face you guys so you can see what it looks like. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, cactus. Just notice I'm not moving my left leg at all. The only movement is coming from my right leg, straightening and bending. And then finally, when the next time you come to the bending the right leg and cactus the arms, now bring your hands clasped behind you, maybe try opposite them on top. And then pull that shoulder blade back, opening the heart, maybe a baby back bend. Then coming back, bring your hands to your desk, step right back up. Now we'll do a quad stretch. So I'm gonna face you guys so you can see a little bit better. Have your hands at your desk and then catch your right ankle into your right hand. And so when you're doing this pose, again, you have your hand on your desk. Make sure that your knee isn't splayed out. You want your knees together. And keep kicking the foot into the hand. Feel a nice stretch at the front of the thigh. And we'll gently release. We'll do the opposite leg. So bend at the knee. Keep the knees together. Don't let it splay out. You have the desk to help support you. Or if you're feeling nifty, maybe you can have your arms at your hand at your hips or your hands out, whatever you would like. And then gently release. So now you're still facing your desk. We'll just come into a wide-legged stance. So at your desk, it'll look like this. And if you have some room, I will move back from your desk so you're almost like arm's length away. And I'll just slowly start to bend at the hips. You can either have your arms resting at your desk, try to keep your back straight as much as possible. Or if you have a lot of space, you can bend all the way down and have your hands on the ground. Now, for some people, this is very hard, but good thing you have your desk, you can just stay here. Have both feet point forward, maybe even a little bit pigeon-toed. So you have your toes pointed, heels out. This should be a nice stretch in the inner legs. Actually, if your legs are closer together, it's actually even harder a tighter stretch on your hamstrings and your adductors. And whenever you're ready, we'll hinge at the hips to come back up. And now we'll turn our toes to point out and then come down into goddess pose. So you're bending at the knees. Try to have your ankles, I'll turn the camera down a little bit more. Try to have your ankles, oh, I guess you can't see that before. Have your ankles underneath your knee. This is goddess. You can have your hands resting at your thighs. So you can sit very low. You want your knees almost at a 90 degree. I know it's burning the hips a lot. Maybe go side to side. Maybe try to bring your hands to heart center, bring your arms up. Let's go side to side, sit down. So you can sit down just a little bit lower. Maybe we'll start to pulse. Just pulse a little bit, tiny motions up and down, up and down. If you feel like there's a burning sensation in your hips, that is correct. Then that means you're doing it right. Now bring your hands to the thighs. We'll just drop one shoulder down and drop the other shoulder down. Maybe do that one more time. And do the opposite side. All right, come stand up. Woo! All right, and we have one more, which is a hip opener. And this is figure 4. So again, you're standing at your desk, use your desk as a prop. Bring your right knee up, and then cross it at the top of your left knee, your left thigh. And now see if you can sit back down. Move my camera a little bit lower. And sit back down. Again, if you're facing your desk, you're just like sitting down like this, flex your right toes. If you are pretty flexible, you have more space, maybe you can bring your hands down to the floor. Otherwise, just use your desk as support. So if you have a desk job like me, this is a very good stretch to open up the hips because we sit at our desk all day long. All right, now stand up, maybe shake out the right leg. We'll come to the other side. Bring your left knee high, and then cross at on top of your right thigh, and just come to sit down. The further you sit down, the tighter the stretch, the bigger the stretch will be. Again, if you have more space, you can maybe try to bring your hands to the floor. Otherwise, totally fine. You're getting the same stretch having your hands at the desk. Awesome. Well, coming right back up. And yeah, well, that was pretty simple, right? Quick 15-minute stretch. And the great part is you just did that all at your desk. So for someone to say, oh, I couldn't go to work out, I couldn't go to the gym, I don't have a yoga mat, I don't have class or a gym nearby. Look, we just did that all at our desk, and that was easy. And so, you know, how can we incorporate that little exercise or meditation into your day? Here's some tips on how to create a good habits. Oh, whoops. So this is, I have a guided yoga flow. It's very similar to what we just did. It's a quick and easy 15-minute stretch break at your desk. Feel free to watch it for guided flow again, right? Super simple. You can do it anywhere, literally anywhere, right at your desk. You can do it. So going now to how do we create good habits? You can start off meditating and exercising for a very short amount of time. Even 5-10 minutes is okay. The biggest part of this is just creating a consistent habit, right? It's better to do 5 minutes of meditation every single day than one 30-minute meditation once a month. And so you want to be able to set actionable goals you can commit to, whether that's just sitting in silence, doing breath work for 5 minutes every day, or see if you can incorporate this easy desk yoga flow every workday. Whatever that is, it has to be something that you can commit to. And when you think about just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that means if you can't find that time, that means you're prioritizing everything else over 5 to 10 minutes doing something great for your body and your mind. That means you're prioritizing being on your phone or watching Netflix or scrolling on Instagram or TikTok more than just 5 minutes for your mental wellness or your body. And when you put that into perspective, this is something I learned from my yoga teacher. It's like, wow, if I can't find 5 minutes, then really I have my priorities wrong. And what can help is if you do it at the same time every single day, preferably in the morning, because it helps you start off the day right. I also like doing more like restorative yoga or like a sleep story at the end of the night as well. It helps me go to sleep. So whatever it is for you, try to do it at the same time in the same day of the week. That will help you create a good habit. The other thing is also making sure you're comfortable and have the right setup. Like either you just leave your yoga mat out, it's in the same spot so again, no excuses, you can just go and do it. I've now come to the point where I do my meditation in bed. I used to at least sit up. Now I don't. I wake up and I'm like, I'm just gonna lay here and start my meditation. And it's like, hey, I still do it. Doesn't matter what position you are. It's the fact that you're still doing it. And the most important thing I can leave you is don't have expectations of how it should feel or how you should perform after each session. Some days your meditation or your exercise will feel good. Some days it wouldn't. For me, I've been doing this for 4 years. Like I mentioned, some days my meditation is just me going through my to-do list, and that's okay. That is totally okay. Or if it's a daily thing and you miss one day, that's okay. Just come back the next day, right? Don't have expectations. Like I mentioned, the puppy dog exercise or the puppy dog brain, everyone has that. That's just how our mind works. It's about just consistently showing up to your mat, consistent about your daily practice. That is the most important. Any questions around exercise and meditation or creating habits? Or any comments, anything people want to share before we move to the next section?
I like to do, what do you think about like having a really good morning routine?
Yeah. Routine is probably what everyone needs, right? Like it is whatever the routine is for you, just being consistent about it. And I think, we'll share some more things about like the boundary stuff, but like for me, the routine is I don't check my work emails. I don't do anything work related or even look at my phone until I've done my meditation, until I've gone breakfast, until I've worked out a little bit. And I think if you have that routine, it will help you be consistent. Cool. So we only have a little bit left. And the last part, I think, is something that most people don't know how to do well. At least I for sure struggle with this in the pandemic, which is how to set healthy boundaries. And so if you go to the next slide, has anyone here ever feel like a lack of energy despite getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Like sometimes you feel like, wow, I got full 8 hours, but I still feel exhausted. Anyone else have that feeling? Yep. So the reason is because sleep and rest are not the same thing. Even though many of us incorrectly confuse the two. Like if we're like, oh, I feel exhausted, I need to sleep. And the thing is, we go through life thinking, well, we've rested because we've got enough sleep. But in reality, we are actually missing out on all the other types of rest that we need. And this is a result of a culture of high achieving, high producing, chronically tired, chronically burnt out individuals that we are. And that's because there's actually 7 types of rest that we need. Now, first, there's a physical one, right? There's passive rest, which is sleeping, napping. There's more active, you're doing restorative yoga, maybe get a massage, stretching. But there's also other types of rest, right? Like I'm sure folks have said, wow, I'm mentally exhausted. That's because our minds keep running and we need to give our mind a break. And what you can do here is scheduling short breaks, like every few hours if you're working. One thing that helps for me is having like a notepad, or I use a notes app on my phone to jot down any thoughts that keep me awake. Like if after my workday ends, I'm like, oh shoot, I need to do this, or I need to like email someone tomorrow. But I want to keep a very good boundary that I'm not working after a certain point, but I don't want to forget it. So I just write it quickly down on the notes app or jot down on my notebook. And that will help you when you're like, when you have thoughts going on, you're trying to remember, just put it down so your brain can rest and be like, hey, I remember that, I'll do it tomorrow. And of course, meditation helps, gives your mind a mental break too. The third type of rest is sensory. So what this is like bright lights, computer screens, background noises. There's, multiple conversations happening, and this all causes our senses to overwhelm. And what you can do is, for me, I work at a desk job, so I'm on my laptop like 8 plus hours a day. Maybe you can try closing your eyes in the middle of the day just for like a minute or two. Especially if you take a break from work. This is something I'm pretty bad at because I work from home, so I have like no one else. But I take a break and I'm on my phone, which is dumb because I'm still on my electronics, right? And so what I try to do is, I unplug from electronics at least 30 minutes before bedtime. Whether I am meditating, whether I'm reading on my Kindle or an actual book, whether I'm, doing something else or journaling. I try not to have electronic or screen time before sleep. And the other thing that you can do is always have like closing your laptop after a certain time on the weekdays and on the weekends, so you're not mentally on 7 days a week. I know for some folks, this is pretty hard. I'm in a leadership position at my company. Sometimes it's not possible, but trying to have these boundaries as much as possible is really helpful. Another type of rest is creative. This is very important for folks who need to solve problems, you need to brainstorm new ideas. Like sometimes you just feel like, wow, I can't think of anything new. Like I'm just like so creatively drained right now. What can help is if you just go walking outside, enjoying the outdoors. I try to give myself, I must leave my office at least for 10 minutes to go on a quick walk. That's important also because otherwise I'll have like just 100 steps a day, and that's very embarrassing. Another thing that helps is, turning your workspace into inspiration, whether there's like, people have like vision boards, you have display images of things you like. I love adding plants to make things more like I have a plant there. You guys can't see it, but I have some plants in this room as well. I'm just making your workspace something that's more inspirational and motivating for you. An emotional rest is having the time and space to freely express your feelings. You want to be authentic. You want to be okay with saying no. A lot of people are people pleasing, and you want to be like, I'm a team player. I want to make sure that people like me. But if you aren't okay and someone asks you to do more, you should be okay with saying that you're not. Because when you lose that integrity with yourself, then the integrity of your life also goes down. The sixth type of rest is social. I'm sure you guys have heard of this. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? You want to make sure you avoid negative people. You surround yourself with positive, supportive people who are mission-driven, like-minded like yourself. And then the last one is spiritual. And spiritual is not, I don't mean this in like a religious way. It could be for some people, but I mean it by connecting beyond the physical and mental and feel like you're part of, you have a deep sense of belonging, love, acceptance, and purpose. And what this means, being part of something that's greater than yourself. Maybe that's adding yoga, meditation to your practice. Maybe that's being involved in your community, being part of this API community is a great way where you feel part of something bigger than yourself. You can add volunteer work to your daily routine. I actually did not know about this until I moved to San Diego. I used to be in the Bay Area, I'm now in San Diego, and I don't have like my close group of friends here. I don't have my yoga community here. My nonprofit where I was a founder of, like all of that's in the Bay Area. And I didn't know what was missing in my life that I couldn't quite pinpoint on. And that was like the spiritual piece. We're all humans, we're animals, and we all like need to be part of something. We all need to connect with our community. And so whatever that is for you, try to be a part of that. So work isn't the only thing. Or maybe you find community and work. You're part of, focus groups or engagement groups where you're doing something beyond just your day-to-day job. I think that is so important for folks to be a part of and have something to distract from, the stresses of the daily life. And the last thing I'll leave you with is take actual time off. Work will always still be there when you come back. Try to actually unplug if you're on vacation. And, one thing I regret in my younger years was I was always so scared to take vacation. I was so scared what my bosses would think of me. I was so scared like, oh, no one will be able to cover for me. And then I'm sure you guys have probably felt this, right? After you come back from work, you're like, wow, no one really even noticed I was gone. Everything was fine. And then you're like, why didn't I take more time off? Why did I like make myself work super late right before my flight? And so this is something I also want to do more of, which is, try to take more time off and actually be able to take breaks, because life is short. You don't want to go through life being like, wow, I spent my younger years just working all the time. I didn't get to enjoy things. So, I would love to hear what everyone wants to commit themselves to. What is one thing you want to commit yourself to that will build better work-life balance? And, think about what I've shared. You can also write down something different. And it doesn't have to be something super big. It could be like, hey, I'm going to add a walk to my day. Every day I'm going to put on my calendar, I'm going to take a walk at 5 p.m. Or is it maybe I'll sit in silence for 5 minutes, no phones, nothing. Whatever it is that you think will help you commit to having a better work-life balance. And I would love to hear what some people want to share with the group. Maybe it can be inspiration for others. And if anybody has issues with setting boundaries with work and personal life, think to yourself, why aren't you currently doing it? What are you nervous about? Write it down. A lot of this is our own fears, our own insecurities, our own excuses. I can share with you many of mine. I feel like why I used to, before I try to have better boundaries, I'll be like, oh, I need to keep working, otherwise I might lose my job. Or if I don't do this, then no one else will. Or people are waiting for me on things. Or my boss might find out and be mad at me. Right? Like all of this is just like my mind running like crazy thoughts when it's like none of that is true. And so think to yourself, like, what is it you're nervous about? Why aren't you currently doing it? And then what you will commit yourself to. Okay, cool. Karen says, not scheduling back-to-back meetings. Great. That's a great way to have a little break. Andrew says, schedule short and long vacations throughout the year. Yes, I love that. And once you have it on your calendar, you have it set so you can plan accordingly. You will not regret that, Andrew. Now I want to add that to my list. Anyone else want to share what they want to commit to? May says, set time for more exercise, step away from the desk. Great. And May, I'm going to challenge you on this. Instead of set time for more exercise, what is something actionable? Is it twice a week, 5 times a week? Is it just 10 minutes? whatever it is, if you can put an actionable number, yeah, it will help a lot. Kayleen says, take daily 10 minutes walks. Great. Now, Kayleen, see, when are you going to schedule this? So you say, I'm going to do it in the mornings. I'm going to do it on my lunch break. I'm going to do it after work. Now you can start to make it more easy to hit these goals. Cool. So thank you guys for sharing. And my last takeaway for you guys is don't overwork yourself to the point where your entire world revolves around your work. You know, you have personal life, you have other friends, family, significant other that all deserve you being present and being excited and not exhausted to hang, you know, when you're with them. And so, yeah, here's some of my information. If you want to connect with me, happy to share more resources. I'm happy to give tips and advice or answer any questions that you guys may have. If you want to get more into meditation, you can sign up for Calm. They have a really good daily Calm that's just a short 10 minutes every single day of meditation. You'll get 40% off if you use my link. So yeah, that's all I got. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post it in the chat or reach out to me directly. But otherwise, I'll throw it back to Karen to close us out.
Thank you so much, Amy. That was super helpful. And I definitely appreciated the exercises. I think it's helpful to actually do them. And just like you said, it's just a few minutes out of your day that you can do right in front of your desk. Even if you had 10 minutes in between meetings or something, right? And you need to stretch it out. I think it was really helpful for me to see where my tense spots were. So while I was doing exercise, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's an area that I need to recognize. So that was really helpful. And I actually wanted to bring up something that came up in the chat that Lynn brought up. I kind of initially thought, oh yeah, you're high energy. But then Lynn mentioned that they didn't think it was a healthy thing to be too excited all the time. So I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts, Amy, on that, if it was like, Lynn kind of mentioned that they were always too excited, even only after 4 to 5 hours of rest, and that they didn't think it was too healthy to be, you know, excited or high energy all the time. What were your thoughts on that?
I think everyone needs a different amount of rest. Like not everyone needs full 8 hours. Some people only need a short one. It's just like what your body is used to. I would say definitely I think 4 hours feels really short and it might catch up to you later in life. And so I would say, you know, just listen to your body, like try to, even if you're only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, try to also incorporate other types of rest, right? Like, you know, there's many different types of rest. So even if you're going 4 or 5 hours, like as long as the rest of the time you're not in like a go, high pressure, high stress situation. If you're like, hey, I'm hanging out by the park, I'm going to the beach, I'm reading, I'm relaxing, like that's also okay. It's more just if the rest of the time you're in a very like high stress, high anxiety inducing type of environment, that will catch up.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Amy. I appreciate that. Just about to close out, and Andrew asked a question. How do we balance the cultural programming we have received from parents and elders to work hard and excel with the lifestyle you're recommending? Tough question.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to one of my first slides, which was like, we all still want to be successful and high achieving, right? Like I'm trying to be COO of my company. I want to make money as well and be successful. But you know why I joined yoga was because like I was on that path. I was working at, you know, some of the top companies in the world, making a really great salary. And then all that came crashing down when I had that health scare. And that was a point when I was like, holy shit, it doesn't matter how much money I make or what I do. If I don't have my health, then none of this will matter. And that was a point that was like really struck me, because you know, when you're in time of need, I was just like, oh my God, please God or Buddha, whatever, just like, I promise I will not put myself through this. Just let me be healthy. Let me be like, nothing be wrong. thank God nothing was wrong and I'm okay and like everything's fine. But that was a point where it's like, okay, I really need to be careful about my health. And I've had, cousins and other people who've had like, they found tumors or cysts in their body, and like all those inflammation is caused by stress, right? Cancer, inflammation, cysts, tumors, those are all inflammatory. And so the biggest thing is, how do you have a sustainable and successful life? And you can still have that with these things, right? Like I still work probably like 10 hours a day. I travel like crazy. I know when Karen was like trying to work with me to get this together, like I was like constantly out and traveling. But it is reminding ourselves of like, when do you set boundaries? When do you incorporate mental wellness? When do you incorporate physical wellness? And, I actually most recently, I was like traveling for work for like 3 weeks, very, very go. And then I was supposed to go to and then teach a yoga meditation retreat right after. And then I got sick. And I was so bummed to cancel. And I remember being like, oh yeah, this is my body saying like, you can't do this anymore. You need to freaking calm down and like rest yourself. And so I think, my parents, my mom is a typical tiger mom, was like, you need to be super successful and do all these things. It's like, yes, we can still do that, but it's just like being aware of your own limitations, and everyone's is going to be different at different points of your life too. So sometimes you can be like, yeah, right now I can push myself because I have everything set up. But if you have times where, if you have kids or your significant other or, aging parents that you need to take care of, maybe now is not the time to like also push really hard on other aspects. So it's a matter of, give and take and being really aware of what's happening. And meditation helps you be more aware of that.
Thank you, Amy, for that.
Tiger mom is, yes.
But that does, help in a sense, right? If it is cultural and you are receiving these things maybe from family members or parents, that reminder that like, hey, my health is more important. Would you rather me be here, right? Or would you rather me be breaking my back or, causing all the stress and physical distress to my body? And it reminded me when you said that you can't pour from an empty gourd. You can't help others or provide for others if you can't yourself be healthy enough to do those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that feedback. Great question. With that, I do want to give one last call for any questions that folks have. Feel free to unmute. I think we have a smaller group, or pop it in the chat in this last couple minutes that we have. If not, I'll just close out with some resources for you all. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you, Amy, of course. Do you have any quick tips on diet to supplement?
I am not an expert on this, so I'm not going to try to pretend to have good advice. I think, eating a balanced diet, supplement, what you said. I think having just like a balanced diet, I personally am not a fan of these like quick fix diet trends that people have. Again, everyone's bodies is different. I think my body loves carbs, or is what I like to tell myself. Some bodies need more protein. I think everyone's is different. I think having a balanced one is good. And then making sure you do eat, sure you have the right resources and nutrition to sustain like a more pressured job if you have one, to make sure that you're healthy and strong. I think everything all works together.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. And, I think a lot of folks usually think like to the specific diets, right? But a lot of scientists and food scientists also recommend to find that balance for yourself, because our bodies are different. So some folks process red meat differently than others, right? Some folks need more fiber, some folks need more iron. So it just depends on, what your body is telling you. And I think that's, developed through time. And like you said, your body will tell you immediately, right? When something's wrong, your body will be like, this is not good. I don't like this. So it's like to also pay attention to that. So thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate your time and sharing this work-life balance with us. I think it's super helpful tips and practical things that we can do in our day-to-day. So thank you so much for taking this time out and sharing, this information with us. I definitely will try to commit to what we all committed to say that we're doing. So no more back-to-back meetings, 10-minute walks, and actionable times throughout the day to do those. So I hope you all will stay committed to those items as well. And I will go ahead and ask Kajana to share a couple of our resource links. So up on the screen now is how you can stay connected with us. So like I mentioned, we're on all platforms, and you can also find us on our website. I do want to share that feedback, of course, is really important to us. So just like how we provided this workshop with Amy for you, folks asked for some wellness tips and some wellness insight, and since we were going back to work and all this chaos that's happening, so that's where we provided this specific topic to you. So feedback is really important for us. So if you can share your feedback with us through our feedback link, that's would be super helpful for us. And then our next upcoming IdeaTalks are coming up as well. And so I want to go ahead and help share that link. So if you hover your phone over this QR code, go ahead and it'll link you to our website. And so I'll go ahead and stop sharing this for a second.